If you're always on the go and struggle to find time for yourself, you'll relate to Maria's experience. Maria at 50 was constantly busy with work and family, and fitting in long workouts just wasn't realistic. When she found the Pursue Your Spark blueprint, it showed her how to incorporate movement into her day without feeling overwhelmed. She started sneaking in short Pilates sessions and stretches whenever she could. These small changes made a huge impact, and now she's more active than she's been in years without sacrificing time with her family. If you're like Maria and need simple ways to stay active, the blueprint might be exactly what you're looking for. Check it out with the link in the show notes. Ever feel like you're showing up and putting in all the work, but somehow it doesn't seem to add up? Maybe you've got a strength goal like lifting heavier, trying a new move, or just feeling stronger every day, but it's like no matter what you do, it never seems quite enough. Sounds familiar? In today's episode, we're diving into that feeling we all know so well, the self-judgment that sneaks in and makes us feel like we should be further along. We will unpack why this happens, especially for those of us in midlife, and how to let go of those shoulds that don't serve us. Instead, we'll focus on a new way to look at progress that actually feels good. By the end of this episode, you'll have simple, practical ways to shift your mindset so you can celebrate the strength you're building without frustration. This is all about making fitness feel like a win for you, because you deserve to see and feel just how far you've come. This is the Pursue Your Spark podcast, and I am Heike Yates. If you're feeling stuck in midlife, wondering, how did I get here? You're in the right place. We're all about real transformation, not quick fixes. My mission is to help you break free from limiting beliefs and outdated habits using fitness and wellness as tools for change. Each episode offers practical strategies for turning complex challenges into simple, actionable steps. So bring your yes, I can attitude and earbuds, and let's explore how you can truly thrive in midlife. My client walks in for her regular Pilates sessions. She comes twice a week. We do Pilates, we do strength training, we do some body weight exercises, and her goal is to feel stronger and healthier. She's in her mid-50s, and we've been working together for about a year and a half by now. And sometimes I throw in things that she is not doing that often. And at that day, we were doing pull-ups. So I set her up for the pull-ups. She did a really good job getting into her core, engaging her core. And as she started doing the pull-ups, she made a face. Her arms were bending a little bit. So not when you imagine somebody pulling their full body weight up towards the bar. It was a little one. And she said, I hate this exercise. I was a little stunned. And I said, what? You hate this exercise? She says, well, I should be much stronger and be able to do this. And I've been working with you for a year and a half. And on the side of being with me, working with me, she also does yoga on her own. She does some strength training videos on the side, and she walks for her fitness. And she says, after all this effort I put in, I'm just not good enough at this exercise and I hate it. So I scratched my head and I said, well, what is the reason you hate the exercise? And she said, I should be able to do it and I'm not good at this exercise. And I looked at her and I said, well, how often during the week do you do pull-ups? And she said, never. I said, well, if we were specifically training you for a pull-up, you might still be struggling, but you would be further along than you are now because we're training sports specific. But we're not. We're training you for life, for your health, for overall strength as you're getting older. And she looked at me and she was a little bit confused. And I said, listen, there is no should when it comes to our health. We see all these people around us, and especially on social media, that are probably our ages, and they look like they're just whooping out those exercises and don't put any effort in, and they look gorgeous, and their bodies look exactly what we think we should look like. And they do the things we think we should be doing. And it's so easy to fall into the trap of the shoulds. I should be able to do more. I should be as strong as I was years ago. Well, those shoulds don't really belong to us anymore. They're often picked up as a comparison or an unrealistic expectation. So I said, let's talk about the frustration that you have right here when we're at the studio. Let's head this head on. We're not looking for perfection, but we're looking about the progress. And you are on a journey as you age to be stronger and more flexible and be able to manage aging in a much better way. This is still progress. Now, some of you might know that I was a bodybuilder 15 years by now, 15 years ago. And my goal was to become as strong and as big muscle-wise as humanly possible. Well, it was one of my crazy goals that I have sometimes. But I trained for that goal. So I was training specifically that I wanted to be on stage showing off my muscles. And this was not her goal. And that's not most women's goal. Most of us, we just want to feel better. We want to feel stronger. And we don't want to be overwhelmed by our workouts. Unless, of course, you have a specific goal like a race or a competition. Getting stronger also for us that are competitive is not an overnight success. We are gradually working towards that. And you hear me talk about this all the time. Baby steps will bring results. Now take a look at your own fitness and your own health and how you're showing up every day in your life. That in itself is a huge win. And when we're talking in this episode about building strength without self-judgment in midlife, that includes your everyday life as well. Are we showing up for our workouts? Are we pushing the boundaries that we may have not set ourselves? And do we challenge ourselves each and every time to greater heights, to a little bit more? And are we getting more resilient, which keeps us coming back for more? And, your strength doesn't look like everyone else's strength. It is such a hardship on yourself to compare yourself to somebody and say, I want to be exactly like this. Yes, it can be inspiring. It can be motivating to say, yeah, I try this, but then often than not, we make sacrifices that we're not willing to do. We're doing this because we saw somebody else doing what we're doing, and we thought we could do the same thing, but we may not be cut out for this exact same process that this other person went through, and we don't even know what that process for somebody else looks like. And when you start comparing yourselves to your past selves, 20, 30 years ago, it is not freeing. It is limiting. So let's stop comparing ourselves to what we did 20, 30 years ago, and let's live in the now and look forward, and let's redefine our health and fitness. Let's shift the focus from achieving a specific goal to celebrating what our bodies can do today. And that single pull-up is not a proof of your worth. Just forget about that. Share how you can be kinder and more understanding of each milestone that you set. Every little bit counts. Every extra step towards your health improves your courage, improves your knowledge, and it increases your confidence in your abilities. So as we're building our strength inside and out, just like Pilates, the Pilates method is about building strength from the inside out and not judgment on top of that. You may have encountered the good enough, I'm not good enough trap. The not good enough trap is something that so many carry around with us. And I also talk about this in my forthcoming book. So be on the lookout for my book in the next maybe 6 months from this recording. It's not a definition of who you are, how good you are, and what you can do. Because somebody along the line defined that not good enough for you. You're not good enough to take that class. You're not good enough to take that money and buy yourself a cute little workout outfit or whatever it is. But think about that. The good enough trap holds you back from doing your best every day because it holds us back in a trap that can be overcome, but we don't sometimes see that we're stuck in that trap. Let's talk about this, why we feel we're not good enough. And I hear it from so many of my clients, so many women in my group, and I do not exclude myself. I had my not good enough moments when back in the day when I was inventing Pilates Unresistible, that I thought I couldn't do that. Who am I? I just was a new Pilates teacher, and who am I to invent a new exercise program and mix the Pilates mat exercise with the ball? And it was its first of its kind on the market back then. And I had to overcome the not good enough that, yes, I can. And I say this a lot of times to you guys too. Yes, you can. I am good enough. And what is the worst thing that happens? If it fails, it's no reflection on my self-worth. I just tried something new that I'd never done before, and it just didn't work out. On to the next thing. But I want to also talk a little bit about the weight of the responsibility we seem to have in midlife, or it comes with midlife. If you ever found yourself mindlessly snacking throughout the day and it's starting to become a habit, then Anne's story will resonate with you. Anne at 58 was snacking constantly without even realizing it. She wanted to make a change, but didn't want to go on another restrictive diet. That's when she found the Pursue Your Spark Blueprint. The course helped her become more aware of her habits, and with a combination of mindfulness and intermittent fasting, she could take control of her eating. Now she feels more energized and in control of her health. If you've been struggling with mindless snacking like Anne, check out the blueprint and see how it can help you regain control. I'll leave a link in the show notes so you can check it out. Have in midlife, or it comes with midlife. As we're entering midlife, and you know midlife is anywhere between 40 and up to 80, brings that sense of responsibility for our bodies and health. We may feel that we should be mindful, should avoid injuries, and should maintain the strength we had back in the days, in our 20s and 30s. So this is a huge burden. And this feeling of this responsibility is a constant that I should be better. I need to be better. It becomes such a heavy burden, turning into self-criticism that overshadows the joy of this journey. And my example with my client, her ambition and her disappointment with herself overshadowed that she did everything else brilliantly. And she did a little bit of that pull-up. And so this responsibility that comes with aging sometimes overshadows what, or is a foreboding message of why we feel we're not good enough. And then there are, of course, unrealistic expectations. Everybody is different. Everybody has a different journey, has different abilities, and has a different learning curve. And that goes for physical as well as mental activities. And especially in midlife, particularly after menopause, these things can be a challenge. We often place so much pressure on ourselves to achieve those new goals quickly, which leads to frustration and disappointment. And we're taking a course or we're starting an exercise program and we're saying, all right, within 2 weeks, I'm going to be super fit. I'm going to see the lines on my belly, or I see less flabby arms, whatever it is that our focus is at that time. And if that doesn't happen, we're freaking frustrated. And that doesn't have to be, because it does not place a value on ourselves. And comparing yourself, as I said before, to our younger selves is just forget it. Don't even go there. These are the good old days, and now you're you. You have different circumstances. You've learned so much, and it's time to take a different path and let the future define what is doable, not the past. And by letting go of those unrealistic expectations, we can feel like it's a weight off our backs and we can enjoy the process. And I'm all about having joy with the things you choose to do in life. If it doesn't bring you joy, which always sounds like Maria Kondo, I apologize, but then don't do it. Let's reframe the process of building strength without judgment and let go of perfection. I talked about this a little earlier. My client, let's go back to her with her pull-ups, finally sat down and she said, Heike, you're so right. It's not about that I can not do a full pull-up. I can keep working on that, but that's not really my priority. My priority is really to overall be stronger. And I have several health issues that when she started with me, that was the premises why she started working with me, have gotten much better. And I'm a much stronger, healthier person. And the result of me working out has resulted in me eating better. So it's not about the numbers. She said, or we told each other, it's showing up for yourself, doing the work without judgment, and just process. The idea of that something is good or bad is something that we all need to let go of. We all have not so good days or not so perfect days, but no matter what you're engaging with in your goals in the present moment, it does not have to look or be perfect, but it moves you forward in your progress to building the mental toughness, as I like to call as well, and physical strength without judging yourself. It is a game changer. In our effort to build strength without self-judgments, let's reframe our fitness and health goals. And the first one would definitely be embrace where you are today. Shift away from I should be better and focus on I'm building strength one day, one rep, one move at a time. This mindset reduces self-judgment, allowing you to stay way more consistent without feeling discouraged. And then shift your focus with compassion. Instead of measuring success only by results, pay attention to your effort and small signs of growth, like feeling more at ease with each movement, or in Pilates that you can do the roll-up much easier with less effort. And it matters because focusing on effort rather than perfection encourages you to keep showing up, which builds resilience and long-term success. And that is what we want. And we need to celebrate, ladies. The small, the big wins, all of it. We give ourselves way too little credit for what we can do. Track your journey with a strength journal if strength training is your goal, or find small ways to reward yourself for consistency. Look at your journal, see what the weights and reps are, if that's what you're doing, or other little journals that building strength mentally. Like enjoying a favorite hobby or relaxing a moment would be nothing you write down, but you plan it in and say, okay, I'm done with work at 5. Normally at 5, I do the laundry. Today, I'm going to read a book. It matters because celebrating those moments reinforces the habit of showing up. I know you keep hearing that from me, but we need to show up for ourselves, making it easier to stay motivated and committed to our goals. And I would like you to check out episode 211, Midlife Mindset Shifts to Strength and Flexibility. And I will leave a link in the show notes. But the beauty of small wins helps build consistency. A single pull-up, a good form squat, or just showing up on a challenging day are all foundational layers of strength. Each small win creates momentum, builds both confidence and physical resilience over time. You can do this. Each stepping stone is right there for you to build your strength without self-judgment in midlife. Remember, building strength without judgment is about embracing where you are and showing up without the pressure of being perfect. When we approach our journey with compassion, fundamental changes happen. What if the only thing holding you back from your true strength is how you're judging yourself? If you want to become stronger mentally and physically, check out the Pursue Your Spark Blueprint. This is my 8-week program designed for women in midlife, ready to make real, lasting changes without self-judgment. Together, we'll work through practical mindset tools, flexible fitness routines, and straightforward nutrition guidance, all tailored to fit your life and help you build habits that truly stick. I'll leave a link in the show notes for you to check it out. And in the next episode, we're diving into what it truly takes to break free from the cycle of wanting change by struggling to make it stick. I'll be talking with Coach Alan Meisner, a fitness and nutrition coach for people over 40 who's made that shift himself. Alan's story proves that true transformation is possible with the right commitment and a mindset.